On this episode, intention matters. Hey everybody, this is the quarter show, and as you can see, co-host here, Ben Folk, is actually out. He had a little procedure that he had to do, and so he's laid up in bed, healing and recovering. All is fine with him though, so that's good news. Not a major thing, but a little thing he had to take care of there, so just me. And I have been talking to the team about intention, and more than that, though, yes, intention, but when you're looking at getting a hold of people, I often have salespeople come back to me and they say like they're out of communication, or they're not calling me back, or they've gone dark, or something like this, and every single time over the years, I think I've been involved in over 5,000 sales in some capacity, greater or lesser degree, me closing them or working with other team and things like that. And my conclusion is this. My conclusion is that when a salesperson says that they're out of communication, they've gone dark, it's factually the salesperson. The salesperson doesn't want to call them, has back off in some capacity, is not actually trying to get a hold of them, and it really has more to do with the salesperson than it does with the prospect. And so they block these different things, and so I've reached a point where I don't believe it. If somebody says I can't get a hold of them, I've had so many times where I bypass the salesperson who's telling me that, and I call the person and I connect. And the difference, a big part of the difference, is intention. And the analogy that I always use with my team is this. I say, look, I have a very close relationship with my mom. If something ever happened, or I was aware of something that happened in some region, let's say where she was, and I sensed that she was in danger in some capacity, like I would move mountains to get a hold of my mom. I'm sure you would as well. Think about somebody who's close to you, and you think about what would you do to know that they're safe? What would you do to get in communication with them when you think about it? To me, I would make 20 calls if I have to. I'd go through other vehicles, other people. I'd find a way to get in touch with them. That much I can tell you. I'd find a way to get in touch with them. And the big difference is intention followed by action. Intention followed by action, okay? And if you flip it around, you think about your wife or your husband or your children or your mom or your dad or whatever, and you think what you would do to drive that communication line in, to drive that line in and get a hold of somebody. You think about the level of action and the level of intention you take. And then you bring that into sales and you think, okay, well, it's not your mom or dad, or it's not your child, or it's not your husband or wife or whatever. But you have to use that same phenomena, that same level of intention. You have to want to get a hold of them. You have to want them as a client. You have to want their sale. And you have to handle yourself on the whole fear and back off and things that come into play that stop you from doing it. I mean, I factually believe that there's salespeople that when they pick up the phone, they're wishing for voicemail, or they're wishing they don't pick up because they're afraid. They're afraid to confront the cycle. They're afraid of what may happen or whatever. Fear is not rational, right? And so you look at it and they do these different things and they say, I can't get a hold of them, or oh, they've gone dark. And maybe they have gone dark. Maybe they aren't calling you back. Maybe they're not emailing you back. Maybe you left 25 messages. But a big difference is your intention. You have to look at it from a cause standpoint. And when you look at anything at all as an external factor, an external environment, something that's out there, you can't control those different things. And so it puts you at effect. You can't do that. You need to look at it from an intention standpoint, from a causative standpoint, say, what can I do to actually handle that? And that means you have to look at each cycle and say, I want this cycle, I'm going to get a hold of this person, then figure out, apply that same level of necessity level, that same level of intention before you pick up the phone. And make sure that before you pick up the phone, that up here, you're clear on what you want to do and that you actually do want to move the cycle forward. You actually do want to get a hold of them. And, because if you don't, it's not going to happen. You're not going to reach them. It's not going to come together. And then you're going to say, oh, they've gone dark. And then you give up on them, whereas somebody else could call them and just connect with them, And look, there's a lot of a lot of tactical tools. There's a lot of vehicles on how you can do it. Like you can send them a text message. You could send them a video text message. You could connect with them on Skype. You could connect with them on LinkedIn. You could connect with them on Facebook. You could call them. You could fax them. You could send a physical letter. You could call a receptionist. You could call somebody else at their office. Obviously, there's unlimited tactical ways you could do it. The difference is the intention. How bad do you want to get a hold of them? How much are you trying to get a hold of them? What are you actually doing to try and get a hold of them? So you need to step up the intention game to actually get a hold of your prospect, actually get a hold of your client, and really put some horsepower behind it. And when you do that, you'll notice a difference. You'll notice a difference of people getting in touch, people picking up the phone, right? And calling somebody once with a weak voicemail or a weak message or whatever, or weak intention, and then, I'll try again tomorrow, that's not going to work. If you really want to make a deal and you really care about the prospect and you really think your cycle, your what you're selling, the product, the service, or whatever, aligns with them and it makes sense, it's your job to get a hold of them. That means if that means you have to make 3 or 4 phone calls today, not just bombard people. I'm just talking about bombarding people. I'm talking about planting intention behind it, saying the right things, right, and really giving a damn. Really caring about them and seeing to it that you connect. And there's a lot of different ways. There's a lot of techniques on what I would say, even on voicemail and how you can do that. We probably talk about that on another show. But one of the key things is just look at the analogy that I gave you about me trying to get a hold of my mom or you trying to get a hold of some loved one, somebody you really care about. You think about what you would do to get a hold of that person and apply that same emotion, that same intention towards your prospects, and you're going to get better traction. And then if you're not willing to do that, or you feel some flutter in your belly or whatever, really look at that and take a step back and say, okay, am I centered on this deal? Do I want this deal? Am I doing everything, or do I have some fear or back off or something that's blocking me here and causing this sort of out communication thing to happen? Handle that first, handle yourself, then tackle it from an intention standpoint like I gave, and you're going to get much better results, and people are going to get in touch. People are scattered these days. There's a huge amount of noise and emails come in. I get like 30,000 emails and social and this and that. Things are going off all the time. Skype's going off. It's like, actually, people are very dispersed, right? They're very dispersed. They're very scattered. You have to step up your game. You have to do a lot more to get a hold of people. And if you think that you're going to send them an email and they're going to get that email and flag that email and make sure they get back to you, they're not. They're not, okay? I have things I'm interested in that I ignore emails. I ignore phone calls. It doesn't mean I'm not interested. I am interested. I have a lot going on. And the salesperson that gets a hold of me is the salesperson that has intention and is the person that really digs in and really cares about it and finds a way to get to me. That person is the one that wins. And that's frankly the person that I respect. The other ones, a message here, an email, and I never hear from them again. That's a very weak approach. Care enough to go above and beyond to get a hold of them. Okay? I hope that helps. If you haven't subscribed already, do so. Hit the red button. Make sure to like the show. We really, really appreciate it. And if you like it enough, share it on social and things like that with your friends. And we'll have more coming at you soon. Okay? Thanks.